Hey there, everyone. It's Tracy. Um, I'm. I actually already did my episode 2. I filmed it last night, but I woke up at 3:30 this morning and I'm in a lot of pain. I have severe pounding headache and my spine is like throbbing and it feels like it's on fire. And it kind of makes deep breaths uncomfortable. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to re-record my episode number 2 for the Julian Journey because part of this process for me that's important to me is that it is extremely authentic. Um, there's a lot of vloggers out there, which is wonderful. Just a wellspring of information out there as far as CFSME, fibromyalgia. These these terrible illnesses, and while it's wonderful, I didn't really see any that that are with people that are really going through the process of trying to heal themselves or manage what's going on right now. It's usually people that have kind of made it to the other side, and I just really want to document the entire process of it, and part of that is obviously going to be setbacks and being in pain like I am right now. I already took my, unfortunately had to take my gabapentin and blah blah blah, a bunch of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get through this. Just bear with me. I'm going to be touching on a few different subjects tonight. At the top of the list, I know I was telling you that we would talk about medical history and the importance of knowing your medical history. I think that's pretty standard, right? I think that's fairly a common sense standard that people understand how important it is to know your own medical history. You should really be keeping track of that and going all the way back to your birth. I just recently found out that I actually was left in the hospital for a week after I was born. And my mother, I'm one of 4 kids, and I was the only one she was unable to nurse because I was ill when I was born, and I didn't even, I didn't know that. And I don't know what kind of infection that I had, but it was some sort of infection. So I just found it interesting. And unfortunately, I've dealt with things, throughout the years of my life. And it's just really, I think, I don't know, I've been able to piece together some puzzles over the years, and realized that I was beating myself up about certain things that I had absolutely no control over. So I really strongly believe that it's important to really keep that timeline and keep it up to date for yourself, not just for the doctors. They take care of that. But if you're going to like a new specialist, or, one would hope that all of your records would be successfully transferred to whoever you are going to be meeting. But that, as some of us know, it just doesn't always happen that way. So I can't stress enough how important I really think it is to hang on to your own medical information, have your own file, especially if you're dealing with some of the things like I am. So obviously, if you do hang on to your medical history, that really does help with you being able to be your own advocate as well. Anything that is going to empower you, when dealing with your doctors, I think it's really important. I always say to myself, and I've said it to doctors too, especially with these, fibromyalgia and CFSME. I live in an area where there aren't a lot of specialists, and a lot of people really won't even treat fibromyalgia patients and whatnot. There's still that kind of that old mentality, that archaic mentality, to be quite honest. So really, part of being your own advocate, I think, is researching. And I don't mean going on Facebook and, looking up, and I also don't mean going on, whatever medical website you can go on, like WebMD or whatever. No, learn some medical terminology. I definitely have done that. And I think it's been wonderful for me. You can look up, papers that have been published, papers that are done by, like Harvard, UCLA, places like this where it's real, and important research that has been done. And when you do it, you'll find that, there is progress being made, but it's certainly not, certainly not fast enough. And I'm sure I can speak for those who have lost their lives, and for individuals who have loved ones who have lost their lives or taken their own lives. This research is just not happening fast enough for most of us, right? So obviously, being your own advocate, and if you can't, depending on how ill you are, if you can't be your own advocate, you definitely want somebody who can be your advocate for you, whether it's your significant other, a family member, or a close friend, or someone that can go with you to appointments and whatnot, and that can maybe help you hang on to information and organize stuff if you're unable to do so. So I would definitely recommend that, and they can also help, keeping records straight, and what treatments you're on, what medications you're on. All of these things are important, especially if you're going to a new specialist. Or another area that I'd like to touch on is attitude, mental stability, clarity, attitude, having a good attitude, staying positive. These things are just not always easy. I'll tell you right now, it's like so many times when I wake up having the pain that I am having right now, it's like a coin toss on whether I want to cry or scream. And yeah, so keeping your head in the game, to just fight another day, it's not always easy. And unfortunately for people with fibromyalgia and ME/CFS, it's not uncommon for friends and coworkers and even family to not understand and to be so confused by it that there's a lot of stigma on some of these illnesses, these ailments that are invisible. I may look healthy on the outside, but you have absolutely no idea what is going on internally. It's a war zone. It's horrible. And just getting up in the morning for so many of us is hard enough. Just to tackle regular daily things. I did some light house cleaning yesterday, and I went grocery shopping. And I'm pretty sure that's probably why I'm feeling the way I am right now. It's maddening. And then for people to not understand that, or go even further than that and not understand it, but kind of look at you like sideways, like you're just lazy or whatever. Oh man, it's hard enough to deal with these illnesses without having to, try to prove how much you're not feeling well. I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm not doing that anymore. So yeah, but our attitude is so important, and I really had thought about this, getting ready to do this Julian journey. I really believe that we have to believe that things can get better before they are going to get better. If you don't believe that you can get better, and I don't even mean cured. Well, that would be wonderful if that's the case, but I'm not even going to go so far as to say cured, but just better. I'm sure some of you will be able to relate to this, that, there used to be times when, my bad days were further apart. And as time has gone on, they've gotten closer together. There are more days in a row. I'm having more bad days than good days. I'm just not able to do what I used to do. Things that came so easy and so naturally to me, I can't do right now at this moment. But I believe that I can make progress. I believe that with every fiber of my being. And I wouldn't even be embarking on this if I didn't believe that, because there's no point. There's no point. I'm certainly not one of those people to lay around and wallow, and there's a lot that goes into all of this, emotionally speaking, and we'll get further into that. And I'll leave it at that for now. Moving on to our next subject, which is diet. I did say that diet is going to be a key factor in this situation. So I'm going to be kind of setting myself up for doing some. I would like to do like a candida flush, which is yeast within the body. I was in the fitness industry for a long time. I know my body pretty well, and I can tell just by certain little symptoms, little things, that it's like, I need to kind of focus on. I know that I need to focus on certain things, and candida, I really believe is a topic for me that I need to readdress. I did it last year, and I felt really pretty good. So I'm really hoping that that's going to happen again this year. So leading up to these cleanses and whatnot, I'm going to just start off by cutting out any refined sugar at all. And, thankfully the holidays are over now. So, and, I'll keep it to fruit primarily, will be the only place that I'll be getting any sugar, and whatever trace sugars and whatnot in vegetables. And so it'll be kind of going into more of a bland diet. But look, here's the thing. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to feel better. And that's something I think that everybody has to ask themselves. How willing are you? How much are you willing to sacrifice? What were you willing to do to feel better? Because I do believe that we have to take responsibility for some of what's going on. I know it's confusing and it's frustrating and it's hard, and you don't want, who wants to do anything when you can barely keep your eyes open? You wake up and you're in just tremendous amount of pain. It's not easy, but it's got to be done. And I'm willing to do it, because I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So, Another thing that I'll be cutting out is dairy. I'm not a big dairy person to begin with. I don't do a lot of breads. Gluten, that's another area, yeah, which is really no big deal for me because I'm not a big bread person. Pasta more so, but there are alternatives for that now too. So anyway, so dairy, gluten, and sugar, any kind of refined sugar, are the things that I'm going to be focusing on over the course of the next week to 2 weeks. Just getting myself ready for some of these more in-depth flushes and cleanses. Another thing that I'm going to be adding to my daily cycle is a meditation. I grew up meditating. I've been meditating on and off my entire life, so I probably will put together a video to kind of explain meditation. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't really even understand what meditation is all about, and I will tell you that it is. I don't even know how to explain how important it really is, but it's huge. And if you can, gain control of your mind and letting stuff go, if you can really do that, you can really get into that state. Once you've learned the process, you can really get into that state at any time that you feel you need to, anytime that you're feeling, stressed out or whatever. So yeah, meditation, and I'm starting off with 10 minutes. I'm going to try to do it on a daily basis, but with a minimum of 3 times a week. So minimum of 3 times, hopefully 7. It's pretty awesome once you learn it, and yeah, it's just a nice way to take care of yourself. So those are several different things that we just touched on. The importance of our medical history, being our own advocate, researching, keeping up-to-date records for ourselves, and then, of course, attitude. It's all about the attitude, isn't it? What are you willing to do to make some progress? It may not be curable, but there are definitely things that we can do to make things better. And I will go into that more on the next video. And then, of course, diet. Diet is huge. And then de-stressor. So I will leave you with that for this week. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week. And I will talk to you later. I hope you have a wonderful day. And that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.